Number one show in late night. You know what it is? Nothing but illustrious guests. Today, join us.
It is the one, the only Katie Porter, yo, repping the OC.
Mr. Diamond, you know how to spend $31 million a year in salary, and you can't figure out how to make up a $567 a month shortfall. This is a budget problem you cannot solve.
That's right. Repping the 45th Congressional District in California.
Right.
Katie, how's it going today?
It's going fine. I'm coming to you from my minivan, which is really a metaphor for the way I'm trapped here.
Yes, they were talking about that on Twitter. I saw that you drive a Mercedes-Benz minivan. Is that true?
No. That's an urban myth or a suburban myth, I should say.
Suburban myth? Okay.
I drive that classic, that collector's item, the Toyota Sienna in country blue.
I had it in Hunter Green myself.
I'm telling you, I'm never this thing. I'm gonna keep it till it
till the wheels fall off.
Goes. Yeah, because and then what bugs me is my suburban mom friends who drive like the Escalade with the third row and shit, and they look down on me because I drive the van. Then those bitches want to borrow my van because none of the shit fits in the Escalade, and I'm like, oh, I see. Like your Christmas tree doesn't fit in your 3-row SUV. Like, oh, you're right, and so I'm like always like. So it's just they get judgy on the van, but then they want to borrow it. So I see how that works.
I remember that from Fast and Furious. That's quite the car.
Oh, it's a V8. It has some pickup.
Oh yeah, no, it does.
You ever pull up on at the red light and race people?
Hell yeah.
Okay, I like that. I like that energy.
Just take Vin Diesel's Charger.
I'm always late, so I'm always going faster.
You're always gunning. You got to. You have a busy life. You got kids. You're a representative. You're dealing with everything that's going on with the coronavirus. How has your life changed since Corona has hit the United States?
I think I've always had to do a lot of juggling with my kids and my job. That was true when I was a professor or a working mom. Before that, a single mom. And Congress made that more complicated. But now I'm just constantly, like, literally juggling. Like, okay, you get off the Xbox. No, you're streaming. You're taking my internet connection. No, you don't get to come get a snack while I'm taping, and you know I'm taping live. Who do you think I'm talking to? Myself?
Mm-hmm.
And so today, like, my daughter, I have an 8-year-old daughter, and like every young girl in America, she thinks it's her birthright to slam her door in her mother's face. But she's got a little hardship because she doesn't have a door. Because my house is not that big, so she got the bonus bedroom with no door. And so she's having a door built in her bedroom today. So I couldn't film in the house because it's too noisy. So here I am, as always, when I just need to get the F away, you come to the van.
Smart.
By the way, this is Showtime, so you could have said you get the fuck away. But you know what you do?
That would be
off-brand. No, would it actually? Would it be?
No, truly, I curse like a fucking sailor. I mean, if my staff ever let me go loose, they would be appalled. It's terrible.
How often does your staff have to pull you back? Are they ever, is like a signal they give you, or they're just like crossings out in memos?
How often, like when you get hired by me, you get like a hook to pull me back. It's like a these people have robust, like they don't even need to work out because they're just constantly pulling me back from taking people down.
Got you. You know what? Your name, when I first heard your name, I was like, this name sounds super familiar. Miro, do you remember this? Do you remember she got into it with Ben Carson and over Oreos. He tried to play you with Oreos.
The disparity in REO rates, do you know what an REO is?
An Oreo?
No, not an Oreo. An REO. REO.
Real estate?
He said, do you mean the cookie?
Oh.
I have to say, people always ask me, like, how do I plan for those kinds of moments? You can't plan for someone to be that dumb.
Right.
Like, you just...
What's going through your mind when that's happening? Because you asked him about REOs, which were retirement...
Real estate owned. It's a term for foreclosure, which, I mean, he's the Secretary of Housing.
Exactly.
But what was going through my mind was just, all of my law students over the years, I think people think that teachers love their good students best. I mean, I always thought that. And that's why I was like the goody two-shoes A+ kind of student when I had Elizabeth Warren. Like, it still chaps me that I got the A and someone else got the A+ from Warren. But I actually really treasure all those students who showed up unprepared, hungover, dumb, whatever they were, because they really prepared me for what it's going to be like to question witnesses in Congress.
Exactly.
How did it make you feel to make Mark Zuckerberg like short circuit? Like his cyborg like mainframe was like burning. There was smoke coming out of his ears. Like, what was like? How did that feel? You know what I'm saying? Because
well, I think it was interesting because I think what really threw him off was my first comment about his haircut and how people on Facebook were sort of making fun of his haircut, saying it looked like he cut it himself, which, you know, now with the coronavirus pandemic, none of us can afford to be, sort of cranky about that one because we're all going to be in that same boat soon. But I think it was, this is someone who's so privileged and so just frankly rich that nobody ever insults him. No one ever he doesn't ever have to put up with the kind of abuse that a lot of us have to deal with on Facebook or on social media all of the time, and for which his company has a role in trying to police.
Definitely.
He never got roasted.
So do you think where the country is at right now with Trump and everything, the country will ever be able to return back to the way things used to be? As far as politics and stuff? Yeah.
I mean, there's no way that you run for Congress if you're a pessimist. It's just, this is a job where people are looking to you for reassurance, for leadership, to be calm, to be smart, to be thoughtful. They want someone else to help them with their problems. And they want a partner really in that who respects them for what they're going through and has ideas about how to fix it. And they're not going to find that partner in Donald Trump. And so I do think this is a moment where there's been an opportunity for so many of my freshman colleagues who really are terrific as a group to really step up and be this fresh face of government. And I think that's really, really needed. So I do think our country will recover. I'm a deep believer in America. I'll never forget, someone said to me, you know why you're running. And I remember I was so dog tired at that point in my campaign. I mean, trying to become a Democrat elected in Orange County. I mean, that was a tough job. I remember thinking, I'm so tired, I actually don't remember why I'm running. And the person said to me, you're running because you love this country. And it was a really powerful moment that's always stayed with me, because that is why I ran. That's why I go to work every day. It really is because I believe in America.
So like having all this, like having that inside you, but also having all the stuff that you said you had, like being a single mom, juggling, raising kids, working, prior to this, you were a law professor. And how does being a law professor while juggling all that stuff inform how you move in politics?
Well, people often tell me that, you're so authentic, and I'm always like, well, what would be the alternative? Right? To get up every day and be phony? Right. I mean, I guess that's what some people do. So I think I just try to be who I am and to bring those real life experiences into it. And one thing I do see, and I think you see this in politics, and I'm sure you see it in entertainment and other fields where, some people get really busy trying to play the role of, congressperson, or play the role of, there's people who try to be the perception of what they think a congressperson should be like. And I'm just being me.
Is that like having people like you, like AOC and people like that who are who they are and kind of shoot from the hip? Like, are you seeing like a turn in politics towards that? Or like, are people like resistant to that type of stuff?
I mean, Congress does not change quickly. I mean, that's kind of by constitutional design too. I mean, this is supposed to be a deliberative body, right? And so we're supposed to be thoughtful. We're supposed to take our time. We're supposed to be in debate with each other. We're supposed to learn from those who are more senior. So it's not all bad, but there are moments in which I'm just like, please stop blowing smoke and just tell me what it is you want from me. So I think there ought to be like a straight shooter caucus for people who just tell it like it is and want to hear it like it is, even if sometimes that message is hard to hear. Right.
Definitely. So you use a lot of social media because you're one of the few candidates that actually understands how social media works and computers and things of that nature. How do you find that balance between using social media to get your message out and not getting overwhelmed by it, because it's like it gives people who usually wouldn't have a chance to directly contact you a chance to directly talk to you, and that's not always a good thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know if it's a good thing. It's not always a fun thing, I would say,
Right.
for me. So, I mean, I think, a lot of people who have big social media followings, and I've had this advice from some of my senior colleagues. They're like, don't read it. Right?
Mhm.
Like, just never look at the comments on Facebook or Twitter. And I still do look. I don't try not to get mired in it. And I have a sort of long-standing agreement that I'm allowed to like anything I want, but I'm not allowed to like rage reply or anything. Like, you
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
there's no unlike, so I'm pretty safe there on Twitter. But I do feel the need to hear directly from my constituents, and that is one of the ways that they do it. I hope they also come to events back when we were able to have events.
Hmm.
I hope now they hop on Zoom calls or things, but it is a way to hear people, and I think sometimes you have to be willing, especially if you're me and you represent an area where Republicans outnumber Democrats. You have to be willing to hear people who disagree with you. It's part of the job. It's the most
Smart.
important part of the job, actually, I would say.
So speaking of that
Absolutely.
and reaching out to people, I've read that you actually take phone calls like from constituents and are like just talk to them on the phone for however long.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. Like maybe
No,
I'm just like not deep in the
yeah.
politics game, but I've never heard of somebody being like, I'm just gonna call my representative and like shoot the
Chop
shit
it
for
up.
half an hour. Yeah. And
No,
talk about,
I have a
this
great
road or whatever.
I have a great story about this. So the other day, it was back in sort of March, mid-March. I was answering the phone, and my staff was busy, and I wanted them to do other things. And I was like, "Don't worry, I'll answer it." They were having a staff meeting or something, and I said, "Don't put it on voicemail. Like, it's the middle of the day. Like, I'll just answer it. I can figure this out. I've done these kinds of jobs."
Hmm.
And so a couple constituents called, and it was very nice. And people called to say they liked me or they didn't like me. And then I get this call, and they asked for my legislative director, and I said, "Great, can I ask who's calling? Take your name." And they're like, "Oh, this is the lobbyist for JetBlue. We saw you tweet at us." And basically, I had tweeted at them because they'd engaged in some less than desirable tweets, basically saying that people should play hooky during coronavirus, which I thought was really disrespectful for the fact that these workers need time off because they're sick, because they're afraid of being sick. Social
Right.
distancing is a public health thing.
Hmm.
And so the guy about died when the lobbyist was like, "Oh my God, like,
I'm directly talking to
here
her.
she is," right? And I was like, "Great, I'm so glad you called JetBlue. Like, let's talk." And look, I have a lot of respect for the airlines and what they're going through right now, and I'm a JetBlue customer sometimes, but it is important to call people out when they make mistakes, and
Hmm.
I'm willing to have the same thing happen to me. I mean, there is no doubt in my mind that Room Raider is going to have a lot to say about the backlighting situation there after he sees this show.
Oh man.
But I'm sorry that I don't have fancy big wing chairs and gray taupe tones, and I mean like,
Yeah.
I'm a middle class mom. You buy the ticket, you take the ride.
There you go. You're just
That's a
making it
fact.
happen. That's. Oh wow. So what else do we have in the future to look forward to from you? Like, is there any pressing issues that you are going to be the face of that would is going to become synonymous with your name?
Well, I hope it'll continue being willing to speak truth to power, to try to get power to tell the truth,
Hmm.
because I think those are two slightly different things. A lot of us like to pop off and sort of speak truth to power, but to get power to actually admit the truth,
Hmm.
that I think is what I try to do in my hearings. Another issue I just really care a lot about is mental health. I think it's something that we delivered on in the Affordable Care Act. We said to Americans, "Hey, guess what? Mental health is going to be treated the same way as if you get sick. You need to, you have anxiety, you're going to get the same treatment." But we're failing to deliver on that. And we need to hold the insurance companies accountable for that. And I think, like so many things, the pandemic has just made that even more clear, that we need to be doing that. So that's going to continue to be a signature issue going forward.
You still got
No,
it?
I got you. Yeah,
Oh,
I
I
got
think I thought my thing froze for a second. You know how Zoom is. I'm like, hello, anyone can see me?
Hey, we're good? We're good? Yo, we did an interview where I think it was the Beastie Boys, and it just looked like it froze, and DESUS was just like this, and he looked just very pensive and like listening. And so I just kept talking for like 10 minutes, and then I get a text like, "Yo, you're not on the Zoom."
Right.
You do it.
You're by yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
Those are some of the best conversations I have.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say that some of these witnesses, I mean, Jimmy Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, I mean, all he ever said over and over again was, I'd have to think about it. I
Wait,
mean,
his name is Jimmy Dimon?
So rich? Yeah, what's it like to be so rich and not care about your employees? I'd have to think about it. You know, how is this employee who works for you supposed to make ends meet? I'd have to think about it. You know, and I said afterwards, I hope he does think about it, because I'll guarantee you that his workers are thinking about how they're going to make ends meet.
That's right. Let me ask you, when you're doing the hearings like that, and the people give you kind of, I want to call it like a Law and Order kind of snarky answer, does that make you go harder at them, or is that something like, yeah? Oh,
absolutely.
What answer have you? Give me an example of an answer you got that just made you furious, just like, I'm going to destroy this person and get down to the bottom of what they're saying.
I don't know, because I think it's hard. I don't really get angry when I get wrong answers. And I think you see this with like the Ben Carson thing. I start to talk slower.
Ooh.
And I get more deliberate. And so I think that's kind of one of the ways that you can tell that I'm coming for you.
That's big lawyer energy right there.
Yeah. So are you familiar with REO?
Right.
Yes,
or one of my favorite moments, I guess, was when I was asking, I think it was Wells Fargo something, and they owe American customers something like $600 million. And I held up a chart, and it was like a bar graph. And, I said, this is the money you owe. And it had a long column. And then I was like, this is the money you've given. And the column was empty. I mean, I think sometimes using those visuals are really, really helpful. And I think Congress could do more showing and more teaching and just a lot less pontificating and talking.
Is that the professor in you that feels that way, or is it just is it a general principle?
I think that might be.
Yeah, I mean, it is the professor. It is the professor. I mean, I love the whiteboard. I love being able to illustrate things. But I really also think it goes back to how you understand what it means to be an elected official in a democracy. So this job is really just the same as my last job. It is a learning and teaching job. I am learning things from going to briefings, from talking to colleagues, from listening to constituents, from doing tours in my community. And then I am teaching those things to other constituents, to leadership, to, trying to figure out what the best solutions are. So I always think about those witnesses really as, what do I want to learn? What does the American people want to learn? Or what lesson does this witness need to be taught?
Well said. Well, that was very professor-like. I enjoyed that. Thank you. Katie, we know you're a very busy woman because you are juggling like 60 things at any given time, but you're doing a hell of a job doing them. Much continued success. And everyone has been on our show, because they're an illustrious guest, we end the interview, we ask them, what would you like your neon sign to say?
No bullshit.
No bullshit, you know what I'm saying? So give it up for Katie Porter. Right here in the rap. Yeah. Don't be on the wrong side of history. She's coming for you.
Yeah, that's right. No bullshit.
No bullshit. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.